ghosted again. No, I'm not on Tinder. I'm talking about your candidates. Let's talk about a phenomenon that's driving talent acquisition leaders to, well, question their life choices. Qualified candidates who seem very interested at first and then vanish into thin air. No response to your follow-ups, interviews scheduled then missed, offers extended, and then silence. Now, your hiring managers probably have a theory about this. Maybe they say things like, candidates just want more money, or my personal favorite, nobody wants to work anymore. But what if the real reason is that your candidate experience is sending subtle and not so subtle signals that working at your company might be a soul-crushing nightmare? I've seen companies where the offer acceptance rate is as little as 50 to 60%, that 4 to 5 candidates out of 10 were walking away. Their initial applications were strong, the interviews were fantastic, but they get the offer and just disappear. If you knew where the problems were, you'd fix them. I know you would, of course you would. But if you don't know where the problems are, what are you gonna do? Spend more money on ads? Spending money on ads wasn't bringing in the talent who wanted to say yes already, so saying it louder is gonna do what exactly? Is the problem on your career site? Is the problem with the ads? Is the problem with the job posting? Is the problem with your social media? Is the problem with your advocacy? Where is the problem? Look, I don't know your specific situation, but I can guess a few things. There's a good chance that one of the problems you're facing is that your career site, how do I put this, is really more driven by CEO ego than what the candidates need to hear, right? It's all mission this and wonderful that, and here's a couple of awards, but candidates don't really care. Candidates want to know, what are we doing? How do we do it? And what do we get when we do it? Maybe your job postings are still yet another litany of unending bullets that, if you read them in any other context, would just read as angry and aggressive. Maybe it's your social media that just says nothing. I mean, I'm sorry, but saying we're hiring doesn't mean anything. Showing pictures of people at your office at the pizza party where they're all giving you that dead eye, we're being held hostage, stare, and don't even get me started on your recruiting outreach. Right, when's the last time you actually audited what your recruiters were telling candidates? And when was the last time your recruiters changed that? And of course, we could talk about interviews, and we could talk about your hiring managers, and you could talk about all sorts of different things like advocacy and all the various touch points. But in the end, you don't know where the problem is. Is the problem one of those things, or is it all of those things? You don't know, and that's the problem. What is the actual message? When you read all that stuff, what is a candidate taking away? When they add all those pieces together, does it equal anything? Or is it just a bunch of throw it against the wall, maybe it sounds good, maybe somebody will like it? Are you undercutting your own credibility? Or are you telling a consistent and clear narrative? Once you know that, suddenly you know how to fix things. Because your employer brand isn't just your career site. It isn't your day in the life videos. It's the totality of every interaction candidates have with you. And those interactions are either building trust or destroying it. Most companies I work with are not shocked by what I reveal to them, but they can't see it until someone points it out. They were too close to it. It's right in front of them and they're trying to see around it and not realizing that the blind spot is the problem. Hiring managers thought the process was rigorous and thorough, not disrespectful and chaotic. But that's how candidates might see it. They might look at your career site and think overly glossy and not supporting the actual things that make your company amazing. So let me ask you, what do you think candidates are thinking about you when they're looking at your career site, when they're looking at your job postings, when they're looking at your culture page and your social media and all the other things that you put out there? Not what you hope they're experiencing, not what your ATS is designed to deliver, what they're actually experiencing emotionally and practically. Because if you're seeing qualified candidates just drop out of your process, or worse, accept offers and then immediately renege, you don't have a candidate problem. You don't have a funnel problem. You have an employer brand alignment problem. And that is something no amount of recruiter follow-up emails or ads can fix. What you need is the information to figure out where exactly the problem is so you can fix it.